everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is the Frugal Cottage, where we talk all things money to help you on your financial journey. I'm Nicola and let's get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and here we go. So today's video is all about how to make a financial plan, and all of these things combined in this will create a document that you can use to check that you're on schedule for what you want to achieve with your money over the short term, medium term and long term. And financial advisors charge thousands of pounds to do this for their clients, but hopefully with the tips here today you can create your own just by using a bit of your own knowledge. So financial plan, what is it? A financial plan basically helps you to plan for items that you want to budget, so kind of smaller savings goals, medium term goals, and then the longer, perhaps more large, more serious savings goals, things like retirement. But having a financial plan will help you to establish routines, hit your goals as you go along. So the first thing you want to do when you start thinking about your financial plan is to assess your current situation. So where are you now? What do they look like? Now is a good time when you start this to calculate your net worth. I'll leave a link below in the description box. I've got a blog post all about how to work out what your net worth is. It's a good starting point. You can see just where your finances are at the current moment, and obviously that will change over time, but it's always handy to know just what your net worth is. That is the first thing. You need to assess your current situation, and then within that, if you don't already, you need to make a budget so that you can identify just where your money is going and include at this point any debt that you have. So when you're doing a budget, be realistic, be honest. There's no point saying, oh, we only spend £50 a month on food when there's 5 of you, because that's not realistic, it's not achievable, and you will make mistakes in other areas because you've not been honest about the amount of money that you spend in whatever areas you want. I'll leave a link to a video below about the Xero based budget method. It's quite a good method to use if you want to know where every single penny of your income goes. It's quite handy to do in terms of making your financial goals that bit more accessible. So I'll leave a link below in the description box for that. But if you have debt, then the first thing to do once you've made your budget is to include how long it will be till you pay that debt off, because that debt, whatever it is, credit card, a loan, a car payment, whatever that encompasses, is costing you money and will continue to cost you money over the long term. So that does have to become a slight priority within your financial plan. It's just kind of one aspect, if you like. The next thing to do, and this might be the most important, is to identify your goals. So what do you want to achieve? And there are 3 different types. So short term, kind of in the next year or so, medium term, like 2 to 5 years, and then the longer term is 5-10 years plus. So short term things could be, we want to go on a family holiday next year. So that's in a short term thing, it's going to happen within the next year or so, and you've got a fairly short time frame to save for that. Medium term, 2 to 5 years, maybe you want to eventually buy a new car, you might want to decorate the downstairs, I don't know. Anything that maybe takes longer to save for and is a slightly bigger purchase. So obviously a new car is quite expensive. Maybe you do a new to you car rather than a new car. Whatever your medium term plans are, things that you would like to happen. So say you want to buy a new car, have a look at car prices, kind of look at the kind of size of car that you would like to own, for example, and then set a monetary goal on that. So say you want to save £10,000 for a new car and you want to buy that in 3 years time. That gives you a financial goal to achieve. You want to save £10,000, and it gives you a time frame in 3 years time. You need to set, in a financial plan, you need to set times, like deadlines if you like, or time schedules and aims for that, because they'll come into play later. Long-term ones are things like if you've kind of got spare money and you know that it will be sat there for quite a long time. Investing, so if your savings just sit in a really low percentage savings rate, which most of them are now, so in a savings account with like 0.5% interest, effectively you lose money every year due to inflation, so your money becomes worth less, and because it's just sat in a savings account doing nothing, it just dwindles away, even though the amount stays the same or might go up slightly with interest over years. What that can buy you goes down. So if you've got money to spare and you know that you can leave it in somewhere for 5, 10, 15 years, then you do need to start looking at investing. Investing is a great way to build your wealth, if you want to call it that. You can build a different income stream, but it is your only, I shouldn't say only, obviously having savings in cash is a good thing if you've got an emergency fund that should stay as cash so you can access it. But if you've got long-term plans and it's not doing anything but sitting there, then maybe have a think about investing as an avenue for some of that. But again, if you want to save for, say you want to save for retirement, the first thing you should do is to check that you've got your pension with your employer, because pretty much every employer should offer a pension at this stage. Please enroll in that. Your employer has to match what you put in, or it gives you a certain percentage and you do a certain percentage. Essentially, your employer puts in free money into your pension. You need to take them up on that, because the amount of time you have your pension, compounding interest comes into play. Don't turn down the free money. So check that you've got a pension set up first of all, that's a good thing. But then if you are saving for other things, so retirement, maybe early retirement, then you need to again put a number on that. Now the numbers for the bigger long-term things might seem quite scary, especially if you're being ambitious, which, hey, it's your own financial plan, why wouldn't you be? Again, you put a time frame on it and you put an amount, and then you can work out, give or take, what you need to save in order to reach that goal in however many years' time. When you're identifying your goals, you need to be clear on why you're setting them. So short term, I want to go on a family holiday next year. Why? Because it's creating memories. We're spending time as a family, we're visiting somewhere new. All of those things are perfectly valid reasons. When you're creating your financial plan, you need to put a why on there for every single thing you write down, because the why helps you with motivation. Otherwise it's just a number and a dream, essentially. Working out the number, the time frame, helps you to work out that goal. Once you've worked out all your goals, and hey, you can have as many as you like, it's not you can only have 5. You could have 5, 10, 15, 20, however many goals, because remember the short, medium and long term ones, so they're all slightly different, and the short term ones there might be more of because they're coming up sooner. Once you've worked out all of your financial goals and your financial plan, you then need to calculate all of those monthly numbers to ensure that you hit your goal. Now, depending on how many you've put down and how much money you feel you need to save for them, that monthly amount might seem quite a lot, and it'll go one of two ways. Either that will motivate you to save as much money as you can from your various parts of your budget so that you know you can hit these goals, or it might push you to find extra money, whether that's through creating a side hustle, selling unwanted things on Facebook or eBay, writing a book, walking your neighbour's dog, you know, the possibilities are endless. If you find that your savings goals are too much for your current income, you either need to shuffle your budget, rearrange your financial goals, or find other ways of making that money to make it up. That's easier said than done in some circumstances, I realise. But it gives you the options. It gives you more options than you think. And it also might motivate you there. It's thinking of things that you can make so that you hit these goals. Once you've done that, you need to write down how you intend to save for all these things. So, saving for a family holiday next year, it's going to cost us £2,000. We've got 15, 16 months. Then you say, right, split that up. How much do you need to save every month to hit that goal? If you find that you're selling things or whatever, or you suddenly have more money coming in because you've figured out a way of making some more money, you might finish one of the short-term goals sooner. Fantastic. You then direct that money into your next however many goals you want to achieve. Once you've done one, don't let that money kind of just drift then. Divert that straight into the next pot, straight into the next idea, straight into the next goal. Short, medium or long term, whichever one The shorter ones might be smaller amounts, so that might be an easier thing to aim for first, but it's totally up to you. But you need to write down how much you intend to save, and then you need to implement this as soon as you can, because the sooner that you start this, the sooner you get that ball rolling and into the habit of transferring money to different savings, different pots, different ideas, different goals, the sooner you'll start to hit them. And as that ball gets rolling, the more motivation that should give you to achieve all of these goals you've set yourself, because there's no reason why you can't. Time and consistency are your two biggest friends during this process. Starting as soon as possible and being consistent with saving whatever. It might not seem that exciting, but a financial plan is giving you that stability, hopefully, to achieve what you want to achieve within a certain time frame. Once you've started and you've got your different savings going on, you've got your little ideas, and when I say pots as well, you might want to save it all in the same one. The long-term one should be thought about more in terms of investments or strategies rather than that. But once you started saving for these different things, you need to track your progress however you want to. Whether you're a spreadsheet person, whether you're a pen and paper person, whether you're an app person, find somewhere that you can track your progress. So when you get to halfway to a short-term goal, celebrate those milestones, because that's what will keep you going forward. Celebrate when you get your first £100 somewhere. Celebrate when you get to 100% of one of your short-term goals. Celebrating the fact that you've done it and the fact that you've stayed there and the fact that you've been consistent is important, and it will help you to keep that motivation to perhaps then stick it out longer term to meet your medium term and your long-term goals. Everybody needs some kind of motivation. There are times when you're going to be bored with this system. But you need to keep in mind, maybe you're somebody who likes a board where you have pictures of things that you want to have or you're aiming for. So a picture of where you're going to go on holiday, a picture of the car that you would love to have, a picture of how you want your retirement to look like. Or whatever motivates you, whatever keeps it in your mind that you're doing this for a specific reason and not because it just seems like it's a good idea at the time. Celebrate the milestones and track your progress. It doesn't have to be every day, it probably won't be every day. People can't put things in savings every day unless you've figured out a good system of bringing in extra money, because let's be honest, we can't save every day. But definitely track maybe once a week. Once a week's probably a good idea. And just to check in on those figures, just to keep it fresh in your mind that, you know, this is your financial plan, this is what you're aiming for. This is how far we've got. I posted a picture yesterday on Instagram about my savings for 2020 so far, and it was a percentage of what we've saved so far and what we have still to go. And at the moment, that still to go bit is a whole lot bigger than what we've already managed to save. But actually doing that made me kind of refresh about how much I'm hoping to save this year. So definitely check in, I'd say once a week, and then do like a monthly overview once you've got to the end of a month of all the different various pots. What have we got to? Where are we still at, how long have we still got, all that kind of stuff. It shouldn't take you long once you've set up whichever system you like, spreadsheet, pen and paper, whichever one you've picked. Shouldn't take you long. And finally, you will need to review this. Life gets in the way, things change, things that we want change, things that we thought we wanted now no longer seem as important. Priorities shift. Review on a fairly regular basis. Do we need the really expensive car, or can we go for a slightly cheaper option for a car? Do we need to go to X, Y and Z? Can we not go to this place which is slightly cheaper? Maybe in your longer term goals, maybe you thought, actually, let's shift a bit more money to those because spending time with family is important, and actually when we're retired, for example, we want to do more of that. So priorities change, life changes, life gets in the way, doesn't it? I mean, things change all the time. It's natural to want to change things as you go along. This is not set in stone. It's not going to stay the same when you wrote it on day one as you get to day 1,000. Because things happen, things change, we change as people. So you need to review your financial plan, I'd say once a quarter. So every 3 months or so. Again, just to check you're on track, but also review and see if things have changed in the meantime. Because things change, things can change fairly quickly, as we know at the moment. And then finally, you need an exit strategy. So how are you going to use the money when the time comes? So if we're going back to the family holiday idea, how are you going to use the money when you need to pay for the holiday? So you need to have the shorter term goals probably in an easy access saver, so that when it comes, you get the email from the holiday company saying you need to pay the final balance of XYZ, you can then transfer the money out and then pay for that in full, done, dusted. The only time where that is different is if you've invested, you do need to leave time to sell investments and have that money transferred to your bank account, so you do need to prioritise. But having an exit strategy for all that hard-earned money that you've put aside for all these exciting things that you want to achieve in your financial plan will help you then for that to be as smooth at the end of the process as hopefully it has been during the process. You don't want to get your money stuck somewhere for like 2 weeks and not be able to access it. So have an exit plan as well as when you're planning to put it all in there, so to speak. And they are the basic outlines of a financial plan. It's that simple. And financial advisors charge thousands for this. But you can set your own goals. You know what, as depends on your household setup, but what you would like, what your family would like, whoever, put them down. There's absolutely no reason why you can't go on that holiday, buy that car, invest and have a dividend income stream, retire early, whatever it is, if you keep it in mind so that you can work on that, because keeping it in mind and having it as that goal will help you on the journey. I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope this has given you some tips to maybe start your own financial plan. And like I said, it might change over time, but that's absolutely fine. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you again very soon.